Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Story of My Friends. We have a very special episode today. I believe this is our first vignette episode, which is a smorgasbord of nonsense just for you. First up, Chris tells a joke. Aaron tells a story that'll set your hair on fire. I, once again, grill Bryan on his self-proclaimed excellent movie trivia. But, give you some context, we will drop in some snippets from our time on Film Podcast with Bryan and Joe. Erica gets a hot take on an old movie, and to cap it all off, I'll read some flash fiction for your esteemed entertainment. So, sit back, relax, get up out the path. If not that, there's a dance floor. Come move that ass. This is The Story of My Friends.
Okay, it's kind of dumb. It's one of these ones where it's like, is that really the punchline? But that's it. Okay. Two whales walk into a bar. The bartender comes up to the table and says, "What can I get you?" And the first whale says, and the second whale says, "Shut up, Frank, you're drunk."
All right, that is a good joke. I really like that.
So this gets me into, like, I thought there could be a whole line of Frank jokes, if you will. Like, I don't know.
The Story of My Friends is community-driven, community-supported. Do you have a story you'd like to tell or a topic you'd like to discuss? Hit me up, joe@tsomf.com. Today is the last day that my old college roommate Aaron Mahoney is in town. We just got off a several-day-long bender that started in Las Vegas and ended in Santa Monica, California. Good evening, Mr. Goose.
Good evening, Mr. Joe.
So we got like 10 billion stories, and to be quite transparent, get used to hearing Aaron's voice because he's going to be a regular contributor to this show.
Hello, I'm Aaron Mahoney. As Joe mentioned, lifelong, basically college friends, and continued the trend. I spent a good week in Vegas last week with him and our other friends. A little bit about me. I used to be a referee for WWE Wrestling. I live in Tampa. I currently work for a bank, but in my free time, I paint. And I also am back on the acting field, doing a local community theater. And that's about that for me.
Aaron and I are in the pool, and I believe he had several beers.
Several beers. Zimas, actually.
Zimas. Yeah, if you could still find those, that's like finding a Quaalude, dude. You find someone who has Zimas, you might ask them, "Hey, do you also have Quaaludes?"
It's rare gold.
Yeah, for real. That also brings me back to the first thing that I've ever drank, but this isn't that story.
Was it a wine cooler?
It actually might have been.
Yeah.
Bottles and James strawberry wine cooler. But it was definitely a Zima was in the rotation there. And this was I probably started drinking a couple years before college. I didn't start that early.
It's a bad introduction.
Well, I think we're off topic right now. So Aaron and I met in 1994. I think we all met on the orientation night for our college, which you went up to before college. And we all decided that we were going to room together and be relatively close with all these people that sat up one night talking fucking nonsense. Anyway, this past weekend, we're in the pool at the Palms, and Aaron tells me a story about a hairpiece. And I just fuzzy recollection, but I really wanted him to tell it to us tonight on the microphone. So Aaron, if you don't mind, just without naming any names, protect the innocent.
Take the innocent.
Yeah, can you give us a sense of what this story is about?
Yeah, so after I graduated college, I went to work for a travel agency, and I had a boss, real nice guy, Billy, we'll call him.
Okay. Where were you living at the time?
After college, it was Greensburg, Pennsylvania.
Okay, and where is that in relation to?
It's about an hour east of Pittsburgh.
Okay, because let's pretend that there's maybe two places people heard of in Pennsylvania. Yeah. One is Philadelphia.
Not even my hometown, people know.
Okay.
And they play the Little League World Series there. But nonetheless, so yeah, I started working for a travel agency and had a nice boss. He had the baldness pattern, like the horseshoe pattern, where bald on top and then hair around the sides and back. But I always noticed that he had these really deep, like, divots all through the bald pattern. We became close, but I never asked him about it. And I became friends with one of our coworkers, and her and I and her husband went out to a bar one night. After a while, we started talking about work, and I said, what's going on with those divots? She goes, "Oh, he never told you?" And I said, "No." And I never thought that.
Billy never told him.
Yeah, Billy never told. She shared the story where, quote unquote, Billy had a toupee at the time. I don't know if this is tradition of toupees. I always thought they were glued on, but he had it bolted in with Frankenstein bolts. I was at a bar Probably had too many. Was in the hallway waiting for the bathroom, and they had live candles on the wall outside the bathroom. This gentleman leaned up against the wall waiting his turn, and all of a sudden got too close to the candle, and his toupee went ablaze. Instinctively, if you want to call it that, instead of stop, drop, and roll, he decided to rip the entire toupee right off his head.
Oh, God.
Divots, bolts, and all, like Frankenstein style. And after that, he vowed never to wear a toupee again. Every time I looked at him, every day that I worked there till the end, I just couldn't stop staring. And I always thought he was going to share his side of the story, like, you know, have some different twist. And I always wanted to ask him, but he never gave any more detail. And he always saw me staring, and I'd always look like I was staring away. But it was like Frankenstein's monster with like these like 8 divots through his bald spot.
Oh, boy. He needs to come up with a better story for that. Do you want to give him one right now? Let's see. Ran into a burning orphanage.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
Okay, what was he doing before that? Was he out in his Pontiac Fiero? It's outside of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'd say a classic Trans Am would be this guy's vibe.
Okay, so he's in a classic Trans Am. Around what year do you think this would be?
Let's go with in relation to our story or the real story.
Well, you know, let's make it close enough to like the real story.
All right, let's go with like 1990, just to give him some years of decompression about the wounds.
All right, so 1990, he probably has a Firebird because they were a little higher.
Good call, good call.
Fastback, cherry red fastback Firebird. And he's driving back from a charity event where, due to his largesse, he had just recent winnings over an Ohio pile. Where's that at?
Ohio pile? I don't even know what that is.
Do they gamble in Ohio?
Maybe. Let's say he does.
Okay, so he's coming
a big
back.
Ohio gambler.
Yeah,
let's just say.
He's a card sharp.
Yeah.
And he's driving his...
Runs the whole Ohio circuit, yeah.
Red Firebird back, going to deliver money to a charity event. And he has Svetlana, what Huey calls Miss Wednesday, because she's his Wednesday night girlfriend.
Exotic.
And he takes her... All right, fuck, I can't keep this shit up.
It was a good preamble.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the idea of a toupee alone, it's like, just own it, man. Shave your head and just live with it. But to go through that dedication of like the bolt factory in his head, I mean, I couldn't even imagine that alone. I think the toupee putting on was harder than the taking off.
Wait till I tell you what some women do to get your attention, Mr. Mahoney. There are a number of various modifications that people make to their bodies here and there.
This is strange news. I've never heard this.
Yeah. You might have even appreciated some of them from time to time.
From afar.
This next one comes with a little bit of exposition needed. I'm going to talk to Bryan Stumpf. Bryan and I had done Film Podcast with Bryan Joe. We did a season of that where we covered 80s action movies. You can find it wherever fine podcasts are hosted. But we did like Predator, Lethal Weapon, Big Trouble in Little China, RoboCop, Beverly Hills Cop, and a number of others. Here's some snippets from our episode on The Terminator. This might give you some context as to what we're talking about afterwards, which is diving in on movie trivia. If you like what you hear from the Terminator snippets, feel free to give the whole episode or the whole series a listen. Film Podcast with Bryan Joe. It's funny that towards, everybody who encounters the Terminator pretty much halfway through the movie is basically just leaping out of his way. He's just, his skin's deteriorating. He's got flies on his face. He shows up at night at a hotel. This is not good for him, making friends. Okay, so we have something to look forward to. That brings up an interesting question, Bryan. How is your version of the future? My version of the future, just to give you an example, it's probably shared with Cormac McCarthy, most closely in The Road. I'm going to wind up with a can of old peaches, scouring the landscape, coming across an old man who's being used as food. What about yours?
Wasn't there a movie called A Boy and His Dog, where it was like a dog could speak telepathically to Don Johnson, and Don Johnson's only goal was to, I think, procreate as much as possible. I think that I would lean more that way than Mad Max. Okay. At least I would hope I'd be able to have that kind of telepathic conversation with whatever pets I have at the time.
Well, I shudder to think what psychic damage you're about to inflict upon these animals.
In he says that time travel is painful. So how awful is that to be first have to go through pain and then the humiliation of having to find pants and just having to get them from the nearest homeless man. And it's interesting. I would have loved to see that whole scene and dialogue about how he actually acquires the pants, because he gets them pretty quickly. And I don't think it would have been easy. Was it some verbal dexterity? How did he actually acquire them? And also,
hang on. Let's talk about the pants before you introduce additional concepts. If you notice in one of the future sequences where Mr. Reese goes back and falls asleep in his comfy future home, there's a child who is basically hunting the grounds for rats, and he catches one immediately. So with that skill that you earned in childhood, acquiring a pair of pants from an incapacitated person is probably just like that's how you pants shop in the future.
in the future. And by different methods, but they both kind of have to use the phone book. They both have to hotwire a car. So, yeah.
First time Kyle Reese hotwires a car, he sits there, he hotwires the car, it turns on, and then he falls asleep in it. He doesn't even move it.
He had to turn the heat on. I mean, he's a sensitive guy. He's used to a cold future.
What if the car owner was just like buying a six-pack or a pack of cigarettes and it was be back in 10 seconds? For the car thieves out in our listening audience, just make sure to move the vehicle you recently hotwire and take it somewhere else. At least then no one finds you sleeping in their car when...
He finds out where they are. He finds that they are at a hotel. But while they're at this hotel, they have some intimacy, I believe.
They do have some intimacy, and we learn that Mr. Reese is not the ladies' man. So I'm curious about this. One, Sarah gives up their position. I just had the note that, hey, robots impersonating voices is like Robot 101. So come on, Sarah, you should know better. But they have sexy time. Basically, Sarah's asking him, like, how is sex in the future? And I'm going to go spoiler alert, it's bad. Because apparently you say I love you before you even touch for the first time. It's considered a warning sign in our culture.
Kyle, the women in your time, what are they like?
Good fighters.
It's not what I meant.
And if that's the case, isn't that a genetically different John Connor?
Look at it this way, in 100 years, who's gonna care?
Because basically, we're to imagine, and I think from a flashback we hear this, that he knew John Connor, Reese did, and he passed a picture of Sarah over to him and said, hey, this is my mom. And it's kind of like the indication, I mean, did he give the picture to Reese to like say, hey, fall in love with this chick? Because if you don't...
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the ruthless efficiency with which John Connor approaches the world. Like, hey, go back and nail my mom.
Yo, mama.
I don't know how that works. That's some wonky time travel.
Can you tell I'm still wearing my seatbelt? Figure I would need to be buckled in.
Safety third. That's actually what this is. We've kidnapped preferred members of your family and we've placed them strategically throughout the city. And in order for you to find them, you have to follow these clues. Stumpf. Hey, Bryan, thanks for joining us today. Folks, you might remember Bryan's voice from Film Podcast.
Groovy.
Film Podcast!
And on Film Podcast with Bryan and Joe, we used to do a segment called Stumpf the Stumpf. Stumpf is Bryan's last name with an F, Stumpf. What we would do is we'd pick a series of 80s movies and I would ask, hey, Bryan, what do you actually know about this movie before we go into, and what qualifies you to talk about this movie? And this is something that in this world that we live in, we listen to a lot of unqualified opinions, particularly on news opinion shows, for example. Any news program that has more than two people talking at once is opinion. Anyway, I'm going to step off my little soapbox here, and I want to introduce the concept to the audience. So the segment was called Stumpf the Stumpf. I would try to confound Bryan. Sometimes he did really good, and sometimes he did really bad, but it was always chock full of fun. I want to continue this, Bryan, with your permission, except with a modern twist.
Yeah, modern twist away. I'm not sure what qualified me for Stumpf the Stump. I think it was just our sparkling banter about movies and...
Your last name.
Yeah, that too. Maybe it was just hanging there for you, low-hanging fruit. You just had to grab it. But yeah, let's see.
Out on Stumpf Farm, grabbing low-hanging fruit has a whole different meaning than it does on the West Coast, so we're just going to ignore that one. So, Bryan, here's the deal. First, you need to flip a coin, and since you don't have a coin, you can just mentally say heads or tails, and I have the two choices written out here, but this is your destiny, Bryan.
I'm your density.
Heads.
Heads, you've earned program 1. Okay. The second question, Bryan, is you need to give me the topic of the quiz this time. And it could be something that you are more than intimately familiar with. So this is your advantage now. The Stumpf quiz will be you giving me the topic and then me giving you the question.
90s movies. How about that?
90s movies. So 90s blockbusters, like 90s
90s
movies.
action movies.
Okay, here we go. I will explain the process here. The modern technology I am employing here via the coin flip was which AI model to use to generate a quiz for Bryan here. What's the difficulty level? You're a movie buff.
I am buff, but not about movies anymore. Yeah, Daddyhood has softened into my edge a little bit. Movies are something I watch over 2 weeks. One movie takes me 2 weeks to watch. I usually watch it in 5-minute increments.
I do the same thing and I have to go back, especially if my phone is within reach. Sometimes I'll just like put it in the next room so I'm not dicking around on the phone the entire time. This is a good one. And through the use of modern technology, what would have taken me a week before has taken me approximately 12 seconds and made it egalitarian in that I've given Bryan the opportunity to choose the weapon with which I kill him. Egalitarian? What's the word there? I think that's the one.
Close enough.
Egalitarian.
Okay, here we go. 90s action movies. It's a fun and nostalgic topic.
I love it.
First question. In Speed, 1994, what is the minimum speed the bus must maintain to avoid exploding?
55.
The answer is 60 miles per
60?
hour, Bryan. 60. So you got that wrong. Hey, I would have answered it was like 88 or something, but I realized that's Back to the Future.
No, that's wrong.
Okay. Oh, Jesus. These are way too easy. Like, apparently film buff means something. And the question is true or false. T2 is made of liquid metal. It's like, come on now. Yes. If you've even seen the movie poster.
ChatGPT.
Yeah, like, let's make fun of ChatGPT for a second. Here's your incredibly hard movie buff question. Name the actor who played John McClane in Die Hard with a Vengeance.
That is pretty hard. Bruce Willis?
Yeah, that's not hard at all. But since that movie came out in 1995, I'm curious. There might be somebody who's 30 right now who's like, I have no idea. True. None. This was the zeitgeist for our generation. All right. What is the name of the cyberpunk city where the Fifth Element movie is set?
That's tough. I was not the hugest fan of that movie. I teach a class in cinema studies, and for some reason, the students generationally, across all generations, love that movie. They bring it up quite a bit. But the name of the city, Jean-Paul Gaultier Land or something. I don't know. I know he did the costumes, and I knew Bruce Willis is in that movie.
I thought it was New York.
The name. Spark City?
It's often called Fifth Element City. This is dumb. I'm regenerating this quiz because this is idiotic. Again, I thought this was going to take like 10 minutes, and here we are.
It's a great idea. You know, the whole ChatGPT kind of formulating the questions for us instead of, that's cool. It's almost like Terminator 2. We're fighting AI, but through film trivia.
Yeah, it's actually trying to make us dumber so that we're an easier fight. What if we lied to you through the television so that we could create little herds of you? Here's this one herd, and here's this other herd. We'll give you guys different information. Not any of it's going to be completely true. So we're going to tell you this information. We're going to tell you how to think. We're going to encourage you not to exercise critical thinking about any particular fact that you hear. And we're going to sequester you so that you're in opposition to this other group. And then we're also going to make you overweight and dumb. So you can't run fast and you don't know how to get out of the way. And then we're going to herd you up. I think we're there, man.
Yeah, I think my experience with ChatGPT, I feel like AI is testing us, checking for our visual acuity. Seems like there's a little bit of Where's Waldo whenever you do like a create image, use that tool. There's always something a little bit wonky and off. They're testing us to see how much details we can detect.
Where other people see conspiracy, I just see idiocy. There is no conspiracy. It's just people don't know what the hell they're doing and try to fake their way through it. That's not a conspiracy. That's human nature.
Okay.
In Ronin, 1998, what is the object inside the briefcase that everybody is after?
Ronin, I know Robert De Niro's in it. I think it was directed by John Frankenheimer. Was it the same thing in the Pulp Fiction briefcase?
I'm actually going to give you credit for that because it's never revealed.
Oh.
They don't say what it is. That's an awesome movie, by the way. It's definitely a rewatchable.
MacGuffin.
Do you teach cinema studies at a local college, perchance?
Good chase sequences.
Okay. Which martial arts legend choreographed the action sequences in The Matrix? 1999.
Jackie Chan?
That's a good guess. It's Yen Wu Ping, but I actually don't remember many movies by that person.
That's a hot flash of 90s trivia. There was this one choreographer of martial arts, that guy that you just mentioned. He was on a hot streak right around then, and his name was bandied about quite a bit.
Here's a good question for you. We went from Robert De Niro and Ronin. In Heat, 1995, what is Robert De Niro's character's personal code?
Personal code? Don't shoot good guys? I don't know.
That's Reginald VelJohnson's personal code.
Now, these are rough. These are, and this is going to to be a shocker, but I actually have not seen all of the movie Heat.
Okay, that is a shocker because I've just assigned you some homework. I will not give you the answer here, but I'll give you the opportunity to text me the answer later this
after I've
week,
seen it.
and I will inform our dedicated listening audience what your response is. And
Guy told me one time, don't let yourself get attached to anything you are not willing to walk out on in 30 seconds flat if you feel the heat around the corner.
I can tell you tidbits like who directed it, Michael Mann. Val Kilmer, actually, his changing of the magazine of an AR-15 is used in military school.
military school,
well,
basic training maybe, or like
whatever
special forces, or
Yeah,
like,
that's
where do
it.
they use that particular military school? There's mouth school and tooth school and tell people story school, work on organ school. What was the budget of Waterworld, making it the most expensive film ever made at the time?
I think it was 100 million was huge at that time.
What's your guess?
More than that?
That's a good guess. It was 175 million. That's kind of like an arcane like question, like, oh, like, can you remember movie budgets that are not solid numbers? Now I can't make a TV commercial for $175 million. It's like got to be way more. In Demolition Man, 1993, what food chain is the only surviving restaurant after the franchise wars? You know this.
Taco Bell?
Yes.
Taco Bell.
I would like you to accompany me to Taco Bell.
Look forward to it. Thank you.
What's your favorite movie from that time? Let's see how much you know about it.
From the 90s, actually, I was going to say there's going to be a lot of Speed questions here. But yeah, Speed was good. I tend to gravitate towards movies that take place on vehicles. There's the template right there. And it's a well-written movie. It's bookended by 2 different action sequences. I think it's at the template for a lot of action movies throughout most of the 90s. And you got to hand it to Speed. Jan de Bont.
Jan de Bont. I live in Venice Beach, California.
Sure.
And the movie Speed starts there when
That's right.
Keanu Reeves' character, whose name is, this is your question,
Cal Turner.
Jack Traven.
Jack Traven.
The generally
See?
cool-sounding name that's easy to forget. Jack Traven. He gets his coffee and a donut from a place called The Firehouse down the street, which is on
The Muffin.
Main Street and Rose in Venice. And right up the street is where the bus explodes. And nowadays, instead of watching buses explode there, you can just watch RVs burn to the ground.
I distinctly remember he actually orders a muffin because when I first watched the movie, I was like, this is a groundbreaking action hero. He's not getting like meat potatoes. He's like asking for a muffin.
Cinematically, when you step outside and watch a bus full of people explode in front of your face, spraying muffin crumbs looks way better in high definition than any other breakfast pastry. Also, it follows a grand tradition of movie action heroes starting with something manly. And how does Die Hard start, Brian?
Oh, the old man kind of pulling a suitcase off of the carousel, the luggage carousel.
Yeah, Brian said, what am I watching here? A movie about an old man struggling with a suitcase. It's like that.
That's the title sequence.
And you don't notice that. And it goes, Die Hard.
I know.
It's exactly that. It is an old man at a carousel pulling a suitcase. And you're like, what? How does it? What? And it works. It works.
So basically, we're looking at an old man trying to pull a suitcase off of a luggage carousel. And then Die Hard. I was like, what is this movie if we're looking at this?
Which passenger takes over driving the bus after the original driver is injured?
Sandra Bullock, but what's her character's name?
Just as white bread as Jack Traven.
Cindy Lou Who? No. What's her name?
It's Annie. I'm just going to go ahead because
Annie.
Apparently
Annie Wilkins, or
here we're bumping into a limitation of AI. Like it assumes that you know every single character name in the movie because it gave me a list of like 10 characters. It's like, I don't know who Doug or Sam or Ortiz was, or you might know this if this is a film that you teach in class, but what is the bus number in the film?
2525.
You got it. Oh my God.
2525.
What is the name of Dennis Hopper's character?
These are things. Easy Rider? No.
It's pretty generic.
What's his name in Easy Rider? Isn't it like Captain Crunch or Cowboy Bob or something? I do not know his name, so I can make up words like Travis Bickle. That's his name.
That would be a cool name to give a character. It's Howard Payne, but wasn't Howard Payne like an 80s synth pop guy?
That sounds like it. No, you're thinking of Howard Jones? Wow,
oh, yeah.
Weird, like.
Easy question. What U.S. city is Speed set in?
Los Angeles.
And how does Jack Traven kill the villain Howard Payne on the subway?
He lifts his head up enough, or with the lack of clearance, and there's lights at the top of a tunnel, I guess we learn from Speed. And so he just lifts him up and decapitates the guy.
Man said, keep your head and arms inside the mixer at all times. But Bill Jr., he was a daredevil, just like his old man. He was leaning out saying, hey, everybody, look at me, pow, he was decapitated. They found his head over by the snow cone concession.
He has a one-liner when he sees Annie. He says, he lost his head.
Dennis Hopper's character in Easy Rider is named Billy, just something, but it's Peter Fonda who's got the cool name Captain
America. See, I said Captain Crunch or Cowboy Bob. See, it's always...
I'm Uncle Sam. How do you do?
My brain is circling the drain. I love the segment. It makes me feel as though I should not be teaching cinema studies, but I need to learn character names. That's what I learned.
Nah, I don't think that's fair. That's like not relevant trivia many, many years later, unless it's like Jane Eyre. Who was the main character in Jane Eyre? You're like, things like directors and movie lore and trivia, like
action,
or maybe like, hey, what notable architect?
Ladies and gentlemen, we got Erica Loshin, our associate producer, on the phone for a hot take. Erica, I am homesick. Probably hear it in my voice. My allergies that I told you about last week had progressed into full-blown whatever the fuck this is. I'm going through TV lamenting, laying sideways. Hey, what am I going to watch? Because I used to watch whatever the hell was on TV. And when I was a kid, I had a very strong memory of watching the movie Xanadu. Have you seen Xanadu?
I have, but not in so long. It's like fractions of it in my memory.
You approach movies different ways. Later on in life, you're like, I remember having a very fond memory of this movie. And we're talking third grade Joe. So this would be early 80s, watching this movie Xanadu. So I put it on and I'm like, why did I like this movie so much? It starts up and first Electric Light Orchestra starts playing. And I love Electric Light Orchestra ever since I was a baby. Just there's something magical about ELO that I always just dug. It was like, oh, robot people and weird echoes and shit like that. That's manna for a kid coming to music. So the scene opens up and it's a mural painted on a wall with about 20 women painted on it. And they all come alive and they start dancing around in their dresses. And I'm like, oh, I think I know why I liked this movie when I was younger. It has Olivia Newton-John in it, of all people, but it basically has run the globe of every different type of person available. And I was on this earth, and I was like, oh, okay, this makes a lot more sense now.
You triggered something in my memory, not about Xanadu, but another movie. Watching movies as a child, and why did I watch that? I had a different sort of childhood adult experience with a particular movie that I really want to watch again. And I don't remember the name of it. I think it may have been called Dragonslayer, but I couldn't find it because, we grew up in the age before internet, and then internet became a thing.
Yeah.
So if you didn't remember something, you really didn't remember something. That might have been like lost. So there's this one movie, I think it's called Dragonslayer.
Are you saying Dragon Slayer or Dragon's Lair?
A Dragonslayer. I think it's called that. I could be wrong.
By the way, Slayer!
There's a scene where this woman, I think she's in like some white roby outfit, and they're basically bringing her up to be a sacrifice. And for the longest time, I was like, what kid would be watching this movie? I remember it being scary, but I couldn't find it for the longest time. So I assumed it was like a repeated dream I had.
Okay, that's interesting.
And then when the age of the internet came around, I searched it up again and I was like, oh, that was it.
Yeah, it totally exists. And I'm looking at the poster now, and it looks like they bit off of Star Wars to make the poster.
Let me see here. Yeah, 1981, which is the year I was born, 1981.
And you could line up a Star Wars poster next to this poster, and it was either done by the same artist, or they were like, yo, just make a Star Wars poster for dragons and shit.
Oh, yeah. This is totally it.
Interesting. Okay, I want to get to part 2 of the Xanadu thing. Hey, why was third grade Joe having a fond memory about this weird magical roller skating movie? And I was like, okay, so that's part of it. But the other part is they're all muses. The whole concept of the movie is the muses sort of got loose, and you got a guy spending his time trying to chase Olivia Newton-John down because he got bit by the muse. And listen, it's most of the movie is set in Santa Monica. Did this movie incept me when I was a kid? Is my life now because of Xanadu when I saw Xanadu in third grade when I was sick? I then pursued a creative field in whimsy, and I always like having a muse in mind whenever I do any form of work. I need to be inspired by that. I also wound up in Santa Monica.
Maybe Xanadu was your muse.
Yeah, just remind me not to go roller skate into a wall, because I think that's how it ends.
Now I feel like I need to watch it again.
It's not terrible. It's sort of cutesy in like the Sgt. Pepper's type of movie way. There is, or Grease. It could be like Grease 2, Grease Sideways.
Yeah, I was like, as soon as you said that they were like chasing after Olivia Newton-John, I'm like, aren't they in every movie?
Pretty much. But this time she's actually the muse, and she's on roller skates. And it's all super sexy.
So the real question is, though, did you finish watching the movie?
No, I texted you while it was on. I was like, I need to do a hot take with Erica.
I feel like you like to get hot takes from me before you finish movies. This is going to be the thing.
No, I've seen this movie. It just ended up becoming my life. Joe's going to move to the West Coast and chase muses around. There we go. Could be worse. At least I didn't see Silence of the Lambs at too young an age or something like that.
I think I probably watched that movie at too young an age.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that until college, actually. I saw Scarface at too young an age. That's back when your parents would just like kind of put their hands in front of your eyes when something was on.
Oh my God.
They're like, oh, we're chainsawing this guy in the shower. Here, we're going to put your hands in front of your eyes. And now, like, or the girl will come dancing by with her tops off and your mom will have her hand in front of your face. You're like, this is very weird. Mom, your hand is in front of my face. There's boobs bouncing by. I don't know.
You should get my parents on for a hot take, because my mom thinks that I'm psychologically damaged by seeing Poltergeist too young.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, straight up. Like, if you want to start a little, like, kind of funny argument between my parents at the dinner table, bring up Poltergeist, because my mom was, like, away for a weekend or something.
Yeah.
And my dad was, it's a movie made by Buena Vista. Buena Vista is owned by Disney.
Yeah.
Like,
how bad could it be?
Ipso facto, it's a Disney movie.
Yeah.
And I was, I think, 7 at the time, and my brother wanted to see it, and he was 9. And I had a tree outside my room, and I did not sleep right for 2.5 years until they, like, cut down that tree.
Yeah, it was that. The xenomorph from the original Alien scared the shit out of me as well.
Well, that's legit. That's
so.
Yeah.
James Cameron scared me twice for the rest of my life. Terminator and the original Alien, and I both saw them when I was like 8. When it sticks with me.
Was it the Terminator robot, or was it Terminator 2 with the guy who like was like liquid metal? Because he scared me.
No, it was the original one, the metal. After he came out of the flame with all his skin burned off, and he was just the robot exoskeleton. Like, that was horrifying. Like, what the fuck, dude? Come on.
Yeah, that was scary. I found the liquid metal guy scarier, though.
He was scary. It's in the realm of possibilities. Might be better in bed too. Who knows? I know you're working, so we got to let you go, don't we?
I do. I have to jump on another meeting, but I'm here for all the hot takes.
Thank you for suffering through that, and go watch Xanadu.
Okay, enjoy.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Keep clear, or the many idiots on the road. I'm getting old. I can barely drink or drive anymore. Wow, you can't even joke about that even, huh? Well, relax. I wasn't having trouble driving. I was having trouble getting the baby buckled into the car seat. Okay. So I'm driving back from Mammoth Mountain. It's one of the better ski resorts nearest to Los Angeles, and it's about a 5-hour drive, giving me plenty of time to buckle up and enjoy the many idiots on the road. Invariably, I wind up behind another car that I can't pass because they are already in the left lane, which begs the question, why are they in the left lane? This happens a lot in Los Angeles. Drivers in LA are by far the worst drivers in the known universe. My sympathies, however, to native Angelinos, because no one driving in LA is actually from LA. But you get the bad rap. This person in the left lane is just doodly doing, hey, I'm a total dipshit. I am somehow unaware that the left lane, aka the fast lane, aka the passing lane, is for overtaking other vehicles. And that if I'm not actively passing another car, I have no business being in the left lane. Who are these people and why are they here? Damn if they know. They're clueless is what they are. So I had to come up with my own answers. And given I had 5 hours to think about it, I think there are only 3 reasons. 3 reasons to be in the left lane when another car is behind you. And listeners, please feel free to chime in. Send us a note at joe@tsomf.com or joe@thestoryofmyfriends.com. Number one reason to be in the left lane. I'm like really, really stoned. And hey, I get it. This is California. And that's actually happened to me before. I once happily drove the highway at 25 miles per hour on the turnpike in Pennsylvania because I had just ripped several hits from the bong and was completely oblivious to cars zooming past me, opting instead to concentrate on the bag of McDonald's in my lap. When I first moved to Los Angeles, I was amazed and delighted that after leaving work for the day, whenever I pulled up to a red light, clouds of marijuana smoke would pour from every car window. So I buy that excuse, and I respect it. Maybe not on the California highway, where there's 27 other lanes to choose from, but hey. Excuse number 2. I'm a clueless asshole. And yes, you are. Your coworkers, your friends, and your family think you are too. But you don't know it because you're clueless. Okay, bye. And lastly, number 3, the absolute worst offender. The I'm driving fast enough person.
I'm driving fast enough. I'm going fast enough.
The fuck you are. I don't care if you're driving 1,000 miles per hour. If someone wants to drive 1,001 miles per hour, get out of the passing lane. I don't care if you're the Starship fucking Enterprise zipping along at light speed with the stars smearing past your view screen. If the Millennium Falcon comes up in your rear view, get to the right side of the fucking wormhole. Most people do. They know the etiquette and are safety conscious and considerate. But there's always that one guy willing to die on the hill. He takes umbrage to the fact that, God forbid, you want to pass him. Him! How dare you? In this case, it was a giant pickup truck. The driver paid money to make it more polluting by adding a smokestack. He chose to adorn his hard-earned investment by decorating it with flags. The flag of another man. He put another man's flag on his stuff. He paid money he earned to go and buy the flag of another man and cover his own possessions with that flag. His truck didn't even deserve those dangling testicles that he augmented with it. This guy had no brains, no dick, and no sense of humor, so you know how that went. Other drivers got to see some nut job trying to run me off the road. Fake plastic balls swinging in the breeze. His truck teabagged my car. Eventually, I get back to Santa Monica. That's where I live, because I'm handsome. But driving in Santa Monica on a Sunday presents other challenges. The dead rise from their graves and putter around. There are drivers here so old that their license plate just says 2. Their car is registered as a horseless carriage. The turn signals are lanterns that burn whale oil. The horn is a trained goose. Now, I consider myself a smart guy. I speak 4 languages. Well, I know how to buy drugs in 4 languages. But here is something that confuses me. When you arrive at an intersection and the words keep clear are painted on the road, keep clear. It's painted on almost every single intersection in LA. A friendly reminder to not block the box, to please not be so incredibly selfish, self-centered, and cause more traffic jam for everyone, including yourself. In what language does keep clear mean stop directly on top of these words? In what language does keep clear mean please impede everybody else because you are a clueless asshole? I used to get very sad driving around here when I was new in town. I was sad because it was painfully apparent that I wasn't given the gift of telepathy that everyone here seems to possess. A car would suddenly appear in front of mine, in a space where there was barely enough room for a slice of craft processed cheese. And that's if you remove the plastic first. I thought everyone must be psychic. They signal lane changes with their minds. They're like, hey, I know there's maybe room to fit a lunchbox between you and the car in front of you, so why don't I just wrench my 14-foot long, 3,000-pound vehicle into that space at like 90 miles per hour? Does that sound good to you? Great. Oh, but wait a second. Shh. It's a surprise. And I'm like, shit, I almost died. But everything is great now because I'm at a red light, someone is blaring Cypress Hill, and I'm breathing in clouds of weed.
Stumpf is the way of the walk.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's our show for now. The Story of My Friends is a production of JF3 Co. LLC, produced by yours truly, Joe Friend. We'd like to thank, in order of appearance, Chris Taylor, Aaron Mahoney, Erica Loshin, and Brian Stumpf for their time, kind words, and wisdom?
Yo, mama.
Special thanks to our assistant producer, Erica Loshin, and a shout out to all the creators of the clips and whiz-boings used throughout this episode. Full acknowledgments, attribution, credits, and thanks can be found on our website at thestoryofmyfriends.com. Questions, comments, thoughts, concerns, ideas, send us an email to listener@thestoryofmyfriends.com.